right, a very good morning and welcome to TV47 Breakfast. This is where we wake you up, best way we know how. How hot is your coffee? My name is Freddie Ndimuli. This is the 20th of August 2026. Mambo inaendelea sawa sawa. 355 days to the next general election. Kama una countdown ya Christmas ni 150? 20?
20 something.
128. 128
right.
days to Christmas.
Director anaweza 20 something.
Kuna watu wako serious na hiyo countdown ya Christmas, utadhani ni kama kuna kitu inakuja hapo.
Clearly director is, because unasikia venye amekasirika nimesema 20 something. That is 128 days to Christmas.
Yes.
Something to look forward to.
Something to look forward to. Of course, my name is Freddie Ndumuli. Big stories today, of course, that helicopter crash in Samburu that claimed the lives of about seven tourists is still big news. Political Goonism and violence, still a big discussion across board. And the papers have done us justice today. They've even painted or printed pictures of people and politicians on the front pages.
List of shame.
Yes, wenye wanajulikana kwamba ulimi haina control, yanatokana bla.
Ulimi ni sharp.
Mtu uko na watoto na bibi na nini mpaka kuku na kondoo, lakini ukitoka huku nje unaongea tu fwa. Tutakuwa tunawaambia ni nani hao.
Right.
Yes. So those are the big stories today. We'll be looking at them later on.
All right. Globally, it's World Mosquito Day. It's talking about the fight to end malaria. Sana, you know where I come from, Kisumu, malaria is very prevalent.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so mosquito ya Kisumu ikikuuma, mwendo umemaliza.
Imeflex maybe.
Umemaliza mwendo. That is why unajua ukitoka Kisumu and then you come back to Nairobi and then you say, oh, I have a fever, I have a headache. Utauliza ulikuwa Kisumu? I see people asking that.
Even parts of Western
Kisumu?
Kenya. Yeah. Ukienda, if you travel to Western Kenya, alafu urudi, unakuanga na shida kidogo mahali.
Yes. Right, so how to celebrate World Mosquito Day? Let's see how we can do that. Is to get involved by holding a fundraiser to provide nets or quinine. You remember Quartem?
What?
Quartem, the yellow thing.
What is that?
Ile dawa. Kwani hujaipatwa na malaria?
Mimi sijawahi.
Nice, that's why.
Of course nishapata malaria, lakini ile dawa yangu ilikuwa tofauti.
Quinine.
Quinine.
Yes, there's quinine and
chloroquine. Now that was the medicine.
Right, so they're saying get involved by holding a fundraiser to provide nets or quinine, distributing information about the precautions people should take when traveling to danger sports. That's World Mosquito Day for you.
All right. On State of the Nation today, we have a purely female panel, all-women panel. Jane Kihara, MP Naivasha. Esther Passaris, Woman Representative Nairobi. And Beatrice Gambo, Deputy Party Leader Jubilee Party. Ya leo ni mwecheche. Unajua hii violence yote, how is it going to affect women? Yes, because women and young leaders, unajua kuna wale politicians wamekaa kwa system mpaka wamekuwa goons themselves. Yes. But look at these beautiful faces. Do you expect them to be goons or to handle goons? Yeah.
Now you remind me, there's a video I watched on TikTok. Alikuwa amekuwa captured kwa news. Alikuwa anasema women in Yemen are goons. Akikushika hivi kwa shingo.
Yemen
ile yetu, Yemen ya Kenya. Akikushika hivi kwa shingo, mwendo umemaliza. Women are goons in Yemen.
Anyway, later on we'll be having other discussions on future-proofing business. FCPA Francis Langat will be in studio. He's a member of the Public Finance and Tax Committee, ISPAC. And then, today's Thursday, so we have man-to-man talk. Dear women, the man you love may be healing too. Yeah, usidhanie kuna ati wote wanakuanga sawa. You know, there's a lot of expectations on men.
Right.
It's like, okay, the woman always comes na shida zake zote anajua. Now you, the man, you are the solution. You don't know this man pia yako na shida zake. Na umsaidi. You're not even considering it. Wewe tu uko tu hapo unangojea, this is a perfect person and they should assist you 100%. Gojea, tegea, that discussion coming here at 9. We'll be having those three gentlemen, Pastor Dennis Mwangi, Edgar Njiru, the sociologist and lawyer, and Dennis Kiarie, mental health advocate and anthropologist.
So women, you're not the only ones healing. No. Your men are also healing.
They are healing, and give them time to heal, and the space, plus the respect, and a lot more that I could say, but
and the
let's
love.
wait for 9.
Right, let's wait for 9.
Meanwhile, get interactive. You can talk to us on all our social media pages. On X, it's TV47 Digital. On Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube, we're streaming live at TV47 Kenya. You can also access us on Vibe 47.
Right.
Yes, directly on your phone. It's an app. You download it from Play Store, from App Store. And you can view everything, including this show right now. Kama unataka kutoka nyumbani na unaona sijui niende, sijui nibaki, sijui niende, toka, enda ingia kwa matatu, you can still follow us live on that app. Yes.
You can follow and drop a comment for us. Use the hashtag TV47 breakfast, hashtag story ni yetu. Let's see how the weather's looking this morning across the country. All right, it's a mostly cloudy day in Kitui today, 16 degrees this morning, highs of 26 degrees. A mostly cloudy day as well in Kilifi, highs of 28 degrees. This morning is 24 degrees. Light rains expected in Busia today, 19 degrees this morning, highs of 29 degrees in Busia County. In Kiambu, it's a mostly cloudy day, 14 degrees this morning, highs of 23 degrees. A partly sunny day in Eldoret, 11 degrees this morning, highs of 24 degrees today in Eldoret. And finally, Nairobi, the capital city, it's a partly sunny day today, 14 degrees this morning, highs of 23 degrees. And that's the state of the weather.
Yes, in Nairobi, I'm feeling warmer today. To be honest, leo I'm feeling a lot warmer. Now, you 16 degrees here in Nairobi, I'm feeling it today. Yesterday, I was 16, but it felt like 9.
Today is 14.
You see, even you are not shivering. You're very comfortable.
I'm not. Sijakuwa nikishiva
Jana
this whole
ulikuwa
week. Koma wewe. That was you and you had to run kutafuta joto. Let's take a look at the quote of the day.
When you're truly passionate about your work, it no longer feels like a chore. It transforms into something that motivates and pushes you towards excellence and persistence.
Today we'll start with the Daily Nation. Toxic tongues. That's a big headline there. Na wameweka picha za watu kadhaa na tutawataja majina yao wote. Sababu niliona mahali kwa social media, some saying that, Freddie Ndimuli and TV47 are biased and they are not saying that it's acceptable if wote. 1. Rigathi Gachagua. 2. Paul Otuoma. Peter Kaluma, the latest one. Aiden Duale. Geoffrey Ruku. Hassan Omar. Kwanza huyu Hassan Omar.
Huyo. You know, I saw Hassan Omar and I said the same thing. Kwanza Hassan Omar.
Huyu hata sijui tuseme nini. John Kagushia, John Waluke, Wanjiko Mohea, David Gikaria, Mpuri Aburi, Peter Salasia, Betty Maina, Ali Mohamud, huyu hata simjui lakini amekuwa hapo. Toxic tongues. That's the front page. Wanasema hate mongers, wanauliza hawajasema, lakini sema a year to the general election, politicians have resorted to seemingly dangerous rhetoric, prompting the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, the one that doesn't have teeth to bite, to open investigations into alleged hate speech. Whether or not it will result in anything, we do not know. Ethnic polarization and incitement to violence. But apart from the inflammatory statements being probed by NCIC, some leaders are openly spewing foul language, with a troubling rise in political intolerance, both in public spaces and on digital platforms. A recipe for disaster. So hawa collectively wakiwekwa pamoja, hii ndio shida yenye tuko nayo for now.
Yes. Very sharp tongues in this country.
Very sharp. Kuna mtu alikuwa anaitwa Peter Odongo ama nani. Back in the day, back in the 80s. Alikuanga hivyo tu mpaka anaitwa loose tongue. Loose tongue kwa gazeti, na hiyo ni kitambo. Alisema usikanyage Busia. He told some bishop, usiwahi kanyaga Busia. And you know, for real, that bishop, while traveling to Busia for church service, had an accident and died. Aitwa Bishop Muge. Yes. Kuna watu wanakuanga na ulimi haiko mzuri. And some of them, I can see them here on the front pages. On the spot, toxic tongues. That's according to the front page of the Daily Nation. So the story is on page 4. Let me see if at all they have a different angle there. Agency summons Gachagua as poll rhetoric escalates. Now, you see, what has now transpired is that people have moved to start using vernacular. And so when they use vernacular to issue insightful statements, alafu wanashikwa wanasema no. Kwa kabila yetu sisi tukisema hivyo tunamaanisha hivi.
Yeah.
So your transcription or your translation of what I said is wrong. Yeah? Alafu NCIC wanashindwa wanajipata wamenyamaza.
Yeah.
Hakuna tunawajua, kwani hiyo lugha unaongea unafikiria ni wewe peke yako unaongea? Wacha hiyo mchezo wewe. So that is the main story. Other quick stories here, and we had mentioned the 6 tourists. I think there are 7. 6 tourists and a pilot killed in chopper crash. So recovered teams had by last evening retrieved 4 bodies from the wreckage of a helicopter that crashed on Mount Ololokwe in Samburu County, killing 7 people. The Eurocopter EC-130B4 went down at 9:13 a.m. while flying from Loisaba to Ewasonyiro, according to the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. Eurocopter na mambo mob. You know, the chopper that crashed and ended up killing former minister George Saitoti and Oro Ojode was a Eurocopter, belonging to the police, no less. So hiyo ni mambo ingine. Revealing ex-lovers' nude photos now a very costly affair. That story is on page 17. Hiyo imefika kwa front page. Hiyo chunga sana.
Hiyo ni serious.
Hiyo ni mwecheche. Acha nikwambie vile wanasema huko ndani page 17. Secret lover leaked nudes and 2.5 million shilling fine. Possession of another person's intimate images comes with a duty to protect them. Sikia hiyo. And failure to prevent their unauthorized circulation. Usisema ati it was by accident mtu mwingine alichukua simu. Wewe ndio nini. Unauthorized circulation can result in constitutional liability even where a victim cannot produce a direct digital trail showing who uploaded them, the High Court has ruled. And it awarded 2.5 million shillings to a married woman whose intimate photographs spread online after being leaked by her ex-lover. Imagine you're a married woman. Lakini kuna ule jamaa mlikosana na yeye kitambo na alikuwa na picha zako, lakini hajaipona, anaziachilia tu just to get back to you. 2.5 million shillings hapo pap. Vile inafaa. A third of senior school students cannot read and count. Senior school. 3 in 10 junior school graduates joining senior school lack essential foundational literacy. So wamekuwa wakifanya nini shule? Kwa miaka 9. Because by the time you're joining senior school, you've been in primary school for 9 years. Ati they cannot read and write. What are you telling us?
Practicals.
That's a story on page 8.
Wanafanya practicals.
We had another conversation of now. We need to move away from
cramming,
pursuing knowledge. We just need to build the character of people. Because you can get the knowledge through AI. On the back page, Malkia Strikers players threatened to quit camp. This matters volleyball. Players are yet to get their allowances ahead of World Championship Olympic qualifiers, where Cameroon have received an equivalent of 260 million shillings for winning the WAFCON title. Ile yenye tulilimwa, niseme kama burukeni. Tulilimwa tu. Hao wameshinda, they beat Morocco, now wamepata 260 million, the equivalent of 260 million shillings as their reward. That's the Daily Nation.
Right. If you want to know why it's called in August, that one is on page 3 as well. Taifa Leo now. Ndimi za moto. Kenya inaelekea uchaguzi mkuu wa mwaka ujao, huku ndimi za moto za wanasiasa zikianza kuwaka, hali inayozua hofu ya kuibuka kwa siasa za chuki, ukabila na ghasia. Tume ya Kitaifa ya Uwiano na Utangamano NCIC imeanza kuchunguza matamshi ya viongozi mbalimbali ambayo inasema yanaweza kuchochea migawanyiko ya kikabila au kuvuruga amani nchini, na wote wako hapa pia katika ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti hili kama tu gazeti la Daily Nation. NCIC yaagiza viongozi wa kisiasa kufika mbele yake kuhusiana na matamshi ya chuki, lakini wanafika kweli? Hawafiki. Wanataka waandikiwe barua rasmi ndio wafike. Wengine wanasema huku niambia mapema, sasa mimi niko busy. That will not come. Ndimi za moto ndio hao wote hapo. Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa pili. Vidokezo zaidi, waliopoteza waume kwa Shabab walia. Hao ni wajane waliopoteza waume wao kwenye mashambulio ya Al-Shabab Lamu, wanalilia serikali. Ni habari katika ukurasa wa 5. Sababu jiji kuwa na baridi kali, right? Chanzo cha baridi hiyo kinaanzia maelfu ya kilomita kusini mwa Kenya. That's the story on page 4, why it's cold in August. Faida ya Equity juu asilimia 32 ni habari nyingine katika kurasa wa 4. Kule juu, Olkalau ilikuwa uwanja wa fujo, yasema KNCHR. Uchaguzi mdogo wa Olkalau ulikumbwa na ukiukaji mkubwa wa haki za kibinadamu, uongaji wa wapiga kura na mambo mengine. Taifa Leo.
Kutoka kwenye gazeti la Taifa Leo tuangazie The Standard. Wanauliza swali pale kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti hili, for how long, Mr. President? And they say these are ghosts of the ICC in what appears to be frustration among Kenyans over the government's lack of will to tackle the goons menace and the descent into lawlessness perpetrated by political leaders supporting President Ruto against his opponents. The united opposition has now turned to the International Criminal Court, demanding scrutiny of the escalating violence and possible accountability for those responsible. The opposition says the ultimate back stops with the president, whose government has a duty to protect Kenyans and uphold the rule of law. It argues that he bears the greatest responsibility for the anarchy playing out as the country heads towards the 2027 general election. That story is on page 4. And we've been asking this question, okay, so what will it take to stop this? Yeah, CS Murkomen is quiet. He has not even uttered a word about what happened in Homa Bay. His PS, Raymond Omolo, who had actually issued an assurance that nothing will happen and the security will be there in Homa Bay, has not said anything after what happened. Yeah? So, where are we left? Police don't want to arrest anyone. Hata ule mwenye alijipresent mwenyewe akasema I've been summoned by police, nimekuja. Wakaambia no, enda hata hiyo story hatujui. Yeah. Unajua ile watu wamesema ni goons, yeye akasema okay, nimeitwa kama goon nimekuja. Akaambia wewe enda hata tujue story. Surely, so what happens? So what happens? So could this kuna mtu anasema tini law abiding goon. Wacha mchezo. So could this be the solution? That we now turn to the ICC to ambie, ile tuliona 2007, we don't want a repeat of that. And so to present it, please come and observe what is happening. Our president is quiet. Our minister is quiet, our IG of police is quiet, police don't want to do anything. So tumeachiwa goons tupigane nao watumalize. Then what?
355 days to the general election. No one is addressing this.
Do you think the ICC is a way to go? Yes. That's what the opposition has decided to do. That story is on page 4. Wanasema security crisis, opposition invites the ICC to probe political violence. Yes. Wamesema sasa they are turning to The Hague as attacks on politicians and journalists plus civilians raise fears of a 2027 elections, because if we continue the way we are, italeta shida. Yeah. That's the main story. Kenya braces for El Nino fury as floods threaten key disruptions is a story on page 2. This one I think should ideally be on the front pages because people need to prepare. Flood-prone areas, are you able to move to higher ground? Do you even know if the area you're living in? Some of them here in Nairobi is prone to flooding. Ama tu umekaa tu hapo unajua unapanga to Christmas, 128 days to Christmas. El Nino is coming before Christmas actually. It's coming in the next 1 month. October, November. It will be so count down to El Nino before count down to Christmas. Because you could be living somewhere. You know those areas in Athi River where they've built very nice houses. El Nino ikikuja, maji yote yanaenda huko. Prepare. That story is on page 2. You can read more about it. Helicopter ferrying tourists crashes near Mount Ololokwe. We've talked about that. Yes. A report says many learners at senior school cannot read or do basic mathematics. Senior school, Sai senior school inaanzia grade 10, which is the equivalent of Form 2. But they cannot do basic arithmetic. They cannot read. What exactly have they been doing in school for the last 9 years? If they cannot read or write. Study shows 3 in 10 CBE pioneers fail to grasp elementary grade 3 knowledge. The report blames inadequate funding and staffing and other inequities in public schools. So how did they even cross over to senior school? That's the question. Yeah. All right. Appointment of Lesiampe as KNH boss challenged is another story there. I'm looking for stories. Stories very few. Opposition renews push to keep Smartmatic out of 2027 election. Yeah. Leaders warn IBC must not use deadline excuses to contract controversial company. How do provide ile kimskit ama ni gani hiyo? Yeah? Opposition says the people's right to a transparent vote and democratic principle must override commercial interests. So they do not want Smartmatic anywhere near our elections. Right. And ile summit ya health bado inaendelea.
Imeisha jana.
Ilisha jana. Kuna story hapo page 14. Muangalie mingi kuhusu SHA. All right, on the back page, world champions Cherotich and Odira and Wanyonyi set for Lausanne battle. The Kenyan Stars are competing in star-studded field in the 12th leg of the Diamond League circuit. So we hope for some good performance there from Kenyans. And that's the Standard, the bold newspaper.
All right, People Daily, political parties in scramble for Gen Z votes, TikTok and memes. So this story is on page 4, and they say Kenyan politicians are scrambling to win over youthful voters ahead of August 2027 general election. That the young voters have become a primary focus for political survival, with parties taking to TikTok, memes, and AI-generated content to reach their target audience. So far, some parties have rebranded and acquired new names, while others have gone as far as shifting messaging with focus on attracting the young population, majority of whom are expected to vote for the first time next year. TikTok and memes. Sasa ukienda pale ukae ni kama, I saw somebody saying that, oh, Kenyans are just supporting so-and-so because so-and-so is tall, dark, and handsome. Oh, Kenyans are just voting for so-and-so because so-and-so has dimples. Oh, because so-and-so knows how to dance. So, yeah. That is what the story is about. So, other quick headlines on the front page of the People Daily. Mixed bag awaits Linda Mwananchi as Sifuna lands in Meru after Homa Bay horror. That's a story captured on page 2. What lays in store for Linda Mwananchi in Meru after Homa Bay? So they will be going to Meru. When? Is it next month? Yeah, this story is on page 2. That Linturi, Munya and Mwangaza have been on the forefront rooting for the opposition in Mount Kenya East and have pledged to bury their differences as the country troops towards 2027. Linda Mwananchi will be there on the 30th of this month. Kenya turns to locally produced solution amid anti-venom shortages. It's another story on page 14. How Kenya sacrificed 627,000 school slots to pay penalties on unused levies. That's also a story on page 6. And that's the People Daily, People and Politics.
Well, the front page of the Star today has a very sad story. Homa Bay blood and tears. How ex-police raped and beat women. Yeah. Key funder delivered cash for mission hours before bloodbath. But Kenya police wanatuambia hawezi fanya kitu. CS Kipchumba Murkomen cannot. It was bad. It was bad. If you look at the story itself on page 6, and this is a narration by one MP, Millie Odhiambo. So, Homa Bay blood and tears, women beaten, raped by former cops. A politician lay bleeding on the ground. Listen to this. Blood streaming from her head when a young man raised his panga to finish her off. She had already survived one beating. Now her life hung in the balance as the attacker approached with murder in his eyes. As blood was oozing from her head uncontrollably, a young man was part of the earlier beatings, raised his panga to finish her off. This is a recounting by Suba MP Millie Odhiambo, who met the survivor. The woman, this victim, is an aspiring woman representative from a coastal county who had gone to Homa Bay to participate in the Linda Mwananchi rally. And I was just talking about how women are probably even more vulnerable when it comes to such kind of violence, especially candidates and those aspiring for political seats. And that's why today in our conversation we'll be having an all-women panel to discuss this, what this violence means for women candidates and aspirants. You can read more on that on page 6, including where the police and ex-cops come in and rape women. And you wonder, okay, so really? Anyway. 7 tourists killed in Samburu chopper crash. That the Star has given us photos on the front pages. By yesterday evening, 4 of the bodies had been retrieved, and the recovery mission still continues. Revolt over plan by Rigathi and Kalonzo as pair seals poll deal. Yeah, that's on page 8. It's one of the biggest political discussions. Ati kuna deal ya revolt over Kalonzo Agashagwa as pair concludes deal. Yeah? A fresh storm is brewing in the opposition after leaders rejected a DCP wiper plan to strike an early two-party deal before bringing the rest on board. Hey, ni mwacheche. Uko juu, Dr. Mutiso murder, a trail of bullets, land and missing police. You can continue reading that story there. Back page matters football. Season curtain raiser, Gor Mahia and Tusker set for high-stakes Super Cup clash on Sunday. That's the Star. Fresh, independent, different. You can grab yourself a copy of this paper for only 60 shillings.
All right, very quickly, Business Daily. ABSA's minority investors reject 24 billion shillings share of. They say that ABSA Group fails to buy 16.5% stake in Kenya unit, and over 64,000 investors snub offer to sell their shares. Kenya's 12 billion shillings condemned fuel shipped to DRC and South Sudan. That's another story on page 2. Very interesting read. On the ticker, Land House shares deals hand Treasury 26.8 billion shillings. And that's the Business Daily.
All right, from the Business Daily, let's go regional and see what the papers in Uganda and Tanzania are talking about. We start off in Uganda. The Daily Monitor. The new blood. The Chief of Defense Forces, CDF General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, has made several changes in the command structure of the Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF, replacing many officers who participated in the Bush War. Wale walikuwa na mzee kwa ile vita ya nini wametolewa wote. Amesema sasa anataka vijana kama yeye. Kainerugaba. Na babake amekubali tu. So wamewekwa pale sura zao kwenye ukurasa wa mbele. The New Vision, how to get tax waivers. Government explains process for struggling businesses. And American recounts alleged Besigye plan to use poison. That's a story on page 6 and 7 of the New Vision. Those are the stories in Uganda. Let's move on to Tanzania. We start off with the Citizen. How Tanzania can weather prolonged US-Iran conflict. Hiyo hata tulisahau. Do you know kwanza hata wacha US-Iran? Unajua Ukraine, Russia are still at war.
Yeah.
And we moved on and forgot about them. This is 2026. Hatuta focus hapo kama ile vita ilikuwa ya Iraq. Every day tulikuanga tu tunasikia Iraq. People have moved on. So experts say Tanzania needs stronger domestic economic resilience and long-term contingency plans, as uncertainty over the US-Iran war raises risks of prolonged disruptions to energy, transport, trade, and agricultural supply chains. So matters fuel and how it affects the Tanzanian economy, given that the conflict between the US and Iran appears not about to end. Tusonge mbele, gazeti la Mwananchi. Chalamila alivyoliamsha dude stendi ya Magufuli. Asisitiza katazo kushusha, kupakia nje ya stendi hailirudi nyuma. Anasisitiza katazo la kushusha ama kupakia nje ya stendi halirudi nyuma. Sasa nimeshika. Aipa LATRA rungu kufungia leseni kampuni zitakazokaidi agizo. Vituo vya ukaguzi vyaanzisha mmiliki wa tilisho. Anyway, what they're saying is there's a law that designated bus stops and bus stations. Ndio inaitwa stendi. Stendi ya basi. Kama pale stendi Kisa. Sasa usipotumia bus station ama the designated bus stop, hiyo agizo utalipa. Ndo amesema hivyo. Kiswahili tu ni vile ni ngumu kiasi, lakini that's exactly what they're saying. All right, so those Instagram and Facebook zashtakiwa kuharibu maadili ya watoto kule Tanzania. Ni habari nyingine imepewa kipaumbele pale kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti la Mwananchi. So those are the regional and local dailies. Let's come back and take a look at the cartoons this morning. Tuone wenye katuni wanasema nini hapa. Do you have the cartoons?
Let's start with one of the People Daily. There's a caricature here of Ndindi Nyoro with a very small ladder here. Anajaribu kupanda ladder lakini kuna ile kubwa ya UDA. Ndindi is saying, my ladder is the only way across. But is it really? Because this ladder is way too small. He's trying to climb up to that ladder. Same level na UDA. So is his ladder the way across? That's Tano's take.
People Daily.
People Daily.
Angalia ingine nikitafuta zangu sababu ni kama zimekwama.
We see the one on the Daily Nation now. When we find the goons, this is a caricature of Murkomen now. kuna county offices, kuna MP's offices. He has a magnifying lens anasema when you find the goons, but ni kama these goons are inside these offices.
Hawaoni.
Yeah.
No, he's looking elsewhere. Yet county offices na MP's offices is where they are.
Yeah.
Lakini anatafuta kwa kwingine.
Yeah. Those goons
Watu lisema
wako
mambo yake ni
ndani.
kama tumemaliza. Harry, the cartoonist on the Standard leo, amechora kuna bull pale imeitwa Sifuna, Western Kingpin. Na wale wengine Weta na ma-DVD wamechorwa kama majogo. So these are different kind of dominance than we are used to. Weta na ma-DVD wanaona ndume wanashangaa. That's a cartoon on the Standard. And finally the one on the Star, and this is my favorite. So huku chini mambo inaendelea, kuna mambo mingi, shughuli mingi, watu wanavurugana, there's a lot of political heat, wengine wanabeba ballot box, wengine wanasema one term, two term, alafu kuna mmoja anasema working from home. His name is working from home. Clean politics.
Yes.
Hajaambiwa poa. Kalonzo ni kama ameambiwa he's working from home. Unajua ukiambiwa nika kuitwa armchair journalist.
What? Amateur?
Armchair.
Okay, armchair. All right.
Ati Kalonzo is working from home. Wale wanazusha kwa nini ati atuoni Kalonzo, ati Kalonzo is not active in the political field. No, he's working from home.
Yes.
That's according to the cartoonist on the Star. So those are the local and regional dailies plus the cartoons which will form our big discussion today. Of course, the focus is on violence heading towards the next general election. Let's take a look at the traffic situation in and around the city this morning. All right, for some reason, Thika Road for the last 1 week or so has really changed. It's typical traffic because all the way from Ruiru, I'm not seeing any traffic at KU, at Kahawa, Sukari, Githurai. There's no traffic even at Kasarani, Allsops, Garden City, KC University. It is green all the way up until you get to the Pangani interchange. And even there, because this is 6:30, very little traffic at the Pangani interchange. Very little because kawaida by now this red usually inafika karibu Utalii Hotel, meaning that even those guys coming from Kiambu Road are having an easy time getting into town. So yes, mukiendelea hivyo mutakuwa Wakenya wazuri sana. Jogoo Road building up slowly kama kawaida. Today I can see the stretch from Makadara. It's going all the way past the Likoni Road roundabout. So building up slowly, nothing to worry about. Building up also just before you get to City Stadium roundabout. Mudhurwa not looking so bad, and even areas around Marikiti. Jana tuliambiwa ati ni wale watu wanaitwa beba wanakuwa na mikokoteni na zile troli ndio wanafunga barabara. So it's building up slowly, especially between that roundabout, the railways roundabout, and the next one that heads towards St. Francis. Alafu Landis Road pia building up. Not so bad. Twende Eastern Bypass, which usually is a bit problematic. Yes, and their Eastern Bypass, true to its nature, a long stretch of red all the way from Utawala Academy, past Utawala, pale kuna traffic nyingi sana, all the way mpaka umalize hiyo Utawala stretch. There's a bit of traffic as you get towards the roundabout at the KQ headquarters, and then it eases off heading towards City Cabanas. A bit of traffic trying to get into the expressway after the exchange, interchange between Eastern Bypass and Mombasa Road. There's a bit of traffic as motorists try to get onto the expressway, but Mombasa Road itself is not looking bad heading towards the Elsewhere, the western side of the city, Jogoo Road, not Jogoo Road, Ngong Road, a bit of traffic at the Prestige Plaza cross change, and Wayaki were looking good. Other roads, Langata Road and Southern Bypass, there's nothing to report there. So that's the traffic situation. It's looking really good today, especially on Thika Road. Once again, a reminder of our conversation this morning. We'll be having an all-female panel, just trying to see, especially with the goons, kutendaje, how are women aspirants and candidates coping with the level of violence that we're witnessing across board. And for that conversation, we'll be having Beatrice Gambos, the Deputy Party Leader, Jubilee Party, Esther Passaris, Woman Rep Nairobi, and Jane Kihara, MP Naivasha. Later on, we'll be having a different conversation.
All right, we'll be talking about future-proofing business with FCPA Francis Langat. And after that, Man Talk will be coming up next. Women, the man you love may be healing too.
Yes. Patia space kidogo. Interact with us through our social media pages. On X, TV47 Digital is a handle. On Facebook, TV47 Kenya, as well as Instagram and on YouTube, where we're streaming live. Use a hashtag TV47 Breakfast, hashtag Story Yetu. You can also, viewers, and all the other content available on Radio 47, TV47, TV47 Digital, on Vibe 47. This is an app you download on your phone and walk around with it. Anywhere, ndani ya matatu, ndani ya gari ukiwa kwa jam, una watch tu.
Ukiwa mjengo. Kwenye huko.
Ukipata break ya lunch.
Yes.
Una watch. All right. So, see you after the break.
Right.
Recently, it's been more of a mirror of my own ambition. We might fail. We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time, and the first time, welcome to Connect In, the best experience in Eastern Central Africa and its environs.
This is a very serious place.
I see that. Surely. Hey, nyumba.
This is the place.
Just for a few days.
Rule number 2.
Kwani Google inajua maisha yangu wewe?
That's my seat.
You have to be very careful. Fake money can kill business.
Na leo mko rada yangu.
Small money, kapesa kadogo, big behavior.
I only have big notes.
Alikuwa anatafuta courage.
Yaani nafaje kutengeneza kachumbari na manyanya zinakaa hivi? Ona kiki ni kama kiwaru.
Hiyo inaitwa commitment to the lie. Amejicommit.
Ndio hiyo. Mpatie.
Unajua kama una mtu kitu, hata tu salamu ya kawaida inakaa kama reminder.
Habari yako?
Sintalipa kesho.
Kesho gani when?
Si kesho as in kesho ya tomorrow.
Your turn. Mzee ni budi nichoka.
Ni budi ya madeni.
Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m.
You have to be very careful. Fake money can kill business.
Na leo mko rada yangu.
Small money, kapesa kadogo, big behavior.
I only have big notes.
Alikuwa anatafuta courage.
Yaani nafaje kutengeneza kachumbari na manyanya zinakaa hivi? Ona kiki ni kama kiwaru.
Hiyo inaitwa commitment to the lie. Amejicommit.
Ndio hiyo. Mpatie.
Unajua kama una mtu kitu, hata tu salamu ya kawaida inakaa kama reminder.
Habari yako?
Sintalipa kesho.
Kesho gani when?
Si kesho as in kesho ya tomorrow.
Your turn. Mzee ni budi nichoka.
Ni budi ya madeni.
Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Sundays at 8:30 p.m.
Good morning.
You have my rent?
Leo jioni kama tutakuwa tumelipa rent, nauza hii simu yako.
Hamna pesa.
I need just to make my nails today.
Sasa hivi natuhusu aje?
Can I order now? Do you ship? Can I get blinking ones?
Mimi nilikuwa na trade. Nimeekelea kitele yangu. Kitele yangu na trade. Nikikunyuma.
Oh my God. He left me.
Nitumie ni live.
Uko nje kuna wifi.
Why? High five?
Wait, so what do we call this dish again?
I have no idea. The cucumbers are there specifically for my beauty routine.
Tamulini kero umeka kwa beauty product.
Na ameenda.
Tunafaa tukuwe na logo yetu. Like, si ni brand already.
Me, I won't entertain divas.
No. I'm not dealing with a man child.
Amazing. Nishapenda hii energy.
Vocal Africa has officially written to the International Criminal Court ICC to place Kenya under close observation ahead of the 2027 general election. With the alarming normalization of organized political Goonism, unchecked inflammatory rhetoric, and paralyzing institutional failure, the warning signs are clear and cannot be ignored. Vocal Africa is calling on the ICC and the international community to monitor this crisis immediately to prevent our country from descending into mass violence. The opposition has also expressed concerns to the international community. This comes as the country continues to witness inflammatory statements from the political class.
We call upon the office of the prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, ICC, to closely monitor developments in Kenya and to undertake a preliminary assessment of whether credible information exists warranting examination under the Rome Statute.
The Law Society of Kenya has expressed concerns over alleged insightful remarks attributed to MPs and advocates John Kagushia and Peter Kaluma, reaffirming that advocates remain bound by professional and ethical obligations regardless of political office. LSK has directed its Practice Standards and Ethics Committee to urgently review the remark and, where a prima facie case of professional misconduct is established, facilitate disciplinary proceedings before the Advocates Disciplinary Tribunal. LSK further warned all advocates against divisive, threatening or insightful statements, emphasizing that it will pursue appropriate sanctions, including suspension or striking off where warranted, and that all members will be held to the same professional standards without fear, favor, or political consideration. Last night, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, summoned former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. The commission summoned Gachagua to appear on Thursday, 27th August 2026 at 2 p.m. so as to assist the commission with the ongoing investigations. NCIC also summoned Busia Governor Paul Otuoma over inflammatory remarks in various days. NCIC is accusing Gachagua of making inflammatory remarks in Luanda, Vihiga County on the 12th of June and in another incident on the 23rd of February 2026. NCIC says in another instance on diverse dates between 25th July 2026 and 28th July 2026 during a Meru tour. In a public event during the tour, Gachagua made utterances that were inciting. The commission is, however, facing allegations of double standards in its fight against hate speech. Homa Bay Town MP Peter Kaluma is yet to face the commission over remarks that he allegedly made over the weekend.
There is nothing like NCC being toothless. They need to explain how toothless we are. The truth is, we have an act that guides us. We have procedures that guides us. NCC cannot do the work of the Director of Criminal Investigation. Director of Criminal Investigation cannot do the work of NCC.
Last week, Mukurweini MP John Kagushia was arrested over inflammatory remarks.
Right, that's the biggest conversation this morning, matters Goonism and what it means for this nation heading towards the next general elections. It's exactly 355 days to the elections. On the front page of the Standard, they ask the question, for how long, Mr. President? With images of goons, some armed with very crude weapons, some armed with guns. And this is something that has now become commonplace. The Daily Nation has moved a step further and named and shamed some of the politicians who have been accused of making insightful remarks, issuing threats, and they're calling them toxic tongues. And allow me to read their names, because they're there on the front page. Rigathi Gachagua, Paul Otuoma, Peter Kaluma, Aiden Duale, Geoffrey Ruku, Hassan Omar, John Kagushia, John Waluke, Wanjiko Mohia, David Gekaria, Mpuri Aburi, Peter Salasia, Betty Maina, Ali Mohamud. And they could be more. Question is, what is the NCIC doing? What are the security agencies doing? What is our police doing? On the front page of The Star, and this will lead into our conversation, Homa Bay blood and tears, how ex-police raped and beat women. Allow me to read this story for you, because it is on page 6 of this paper, and it is a recounting by one MP, Millie Odhiambo. So the story goes, a woman politician lay bleeding on the ground, blood streaming from her head, when a young man raised his panga to finish her off. She had already survived one beating. Now her life hung in the balance as the attacker approached with mud in his eyes. As blood was oozing from her head uncontrollably, a young man who was part of the earlier beatings raised his panga to finish her off. Suba South MP Millie Odhiambo recounted this after meeting the survivor. Now the woman, an aspiring woman representative from a coastal county, had gone to Homa Bay to participate in the Linda Mwananchi rally. This is the reason we have an all-women panel this morning, because this violence means something different to female aspirants and candidates as well. Allow me to welcome our panelists today. On my immediate right, it's Jane Kihara, MP Naivasha. Karibu sana. It's good to have you in studio.
Thank you very much. Hello.
Esther Passaris, Woman Representative Nairobi, a familiar face on this panel. It's always good to have you in studio.
Thank
Karibu
you.
sana.
Thank you.
And Beatrice Gambo, Deputy Party Leader, Jubilee Party.
Thank you.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Ladies, we may just see this as political machinations. It has become commonplace. Jeshi la mzee, Chinkororo, Mungike, and all this kind of language in political contestations. But this time around, we're witnessing something different. It has become more rampant. It's a trend that is growing. And concerns have been raised about what will happen if we continue in with this trajectory. But I'm now more concerned about what it means to the female aspirants and candidates as we approach the next elections. Do you find the necessity? Beatrice, I'm not certain if you are an aspirant or an aspirant.
Yes, I am.
You are? Okay, good.
Wapisema.
Have you ever found the necessity to walk around with a group of people for your own security?
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm an aspirant in Kisauni, which is a constituency, actually the largest constituency in terms of voter population in Mombasa County. And I'm vying the position of the Member of National Assembly. The incumbent is a male MP. And actually, I tried it in the last election in 2022. I was the only female candidate on the ballot. And it appears it's going to be the same in 2027. And the story that you read of that female aspirant is actually from Kwale County. Is somebody I know personally. She's a young girl. In fact, 2 months ago, she hosted me for lunch at her place. And we had several leaders from Kwale. And when I heard of this, what happened to her, I was really, really heartbroken. Because this is like a girl that I'm mentoring, a girl that looks up to me in terms of political direction. Now, I'm at a place where I have to really talk to her and tell her it's going to be okay. Yet I'm a candidate myself, and I don't know how it's going to be for me. So we as female aspirants are in a very unprecedented place, you know, in this country. Because the other day somebody told me, Beatrice, this is 300 and around 50 days to the elections, and this is happening. So what happens in December? So when somebody asks you that question, you wonder, you know, because I was in a meeting like 3 months ago, and I had been called by the residents of that place. And one of the aspirants, okay, who is also aspiring for that seat, a male aspirant, was also called for that particular meeting. And at one point, he charged towards me, you know, and really like angry, like I'm coming for you, you know. I mean, he charged at me. And I was like, I mean, why are you doing this? You know, if you have something to say, use your words, not your hands or your legs or your head, you know. I mean, head as in physically, not the intellect. And I mean, I experienced that myself. So I'm at a place where I'm saying, yes, I'm doing this. And yes, I'm doing this because I believe I carry the vision that the Kisauni people badly need, the change that the Kisauni people badly need in terms of, I mean, all the sectors, education, health, name it. But again, there's all this, you know, Goonism that is going around. And I mean, your question, if I feel sometimes, yes,
that you need to walk around.
But not like goons, like holding clubs and whatever, you know, to attack somebody. But I just ask, you know, I call my people before I go to a place and ask kuko vipi huko. But that does not mean that it will stop me from going there, you know. But I'm like, okay, nije sasa kumetulia, you know. I mean, those are some of the questions that we ask ourselves. So I'm just wondering, and I'm asking this to President Ruto, you know, what are the interventions? And are we going to procrastinate interventions and plugins to make sure that it is okay for us to move around and it is safe for us to move around, where people don't have to tell us that ikifika saa 10 wewe ni mwanamke wewe usharudi nyumbani. You understand? Because wewe ni mwanamke, you know, sometimes I choose to just drive myself to meetings and people told me, unkuja peke yako, you know, that should not be a question. You understand?
Madam Pasaris, you've had experience in Nairobi, and the city is a whole different ball game. And the use of goons in Nairobi is something that has happened for years, and you've been in Parliament for quite a while. Do you feel the need to have your own security beyond the police protection that is offered to a member of Parliament? Do you feel the need? Have you ever found it necessary to walk around with a team of people just for your own security?
I want to tell you, first of all, I mean, my condolences to the families that lost their loved ones because of politics, not just in Homa Bay, but that's the most recent one. And the women that, I always say that when you have a political rally, you always will have sexual gender-based violence. It goes with the territory because people get intoxicated and they feel they can do whatever they want. And, you know, it's really sad, it's disheartening. But when I look at the headlines and I look at the toxic tongues, I mean, out of, I think they've listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 14 of them, and there's just 2 women there. I have hope. I have hope that women will carry the day, in the sense that, you know, I keep saying that we have many tribes, and it's really, really sad that at this day and time we're still talking tribalism. I feel that the tribe that I want to belong to is the tribe of women, all right? Now, when I go for an event, okay, because of heightened unemployment, I will hire my security, and when they hear that mom has an event, there's a team that I walk around with, and they already understand how I operate. They don't rough up anyone, they skip their distance, and they only come in if there is an issue. Because of heightened unemployment, you will find that when I go for an event, there will be many, many youth that will come. And all these youth are coming for only one reason. They're coming because they want some money. They want some money, all right? They want some money to probably go and pay the bills for the day, to probably have a meal, to probably go and enjoy themselves. So they will present themselves at any political rally. So they come, and now the leaders, they are leaders for each of these groups, all right? And they've always formed themselves that way. And you'll find that I'm having a function in Makadara, but the youth from entire county of Nairobi will be there. all right? I have my 5 or 10 additional backup for security, and they don't spare anyone. I remember I was having a launch for BD Primary, a fundraiser, and they all came. And I mean, I told them, listen, I've got the Chinese ambassador. Behave. Don't jump on her car. She's not going to give you any money. I need her to go. And then my chair will deal with all of you, all right? Handle you, all right? I'm scared to say the word deal because now it's being taken the wrong way. So deal with you in the sense that he will be there for you. He will sort you. So deal with you. It's an English terminology anyway. So some respect it, others don't. Like now, I was at KICC yesterday and the day before yesterday for the Kenya Health Summit. When I came out, they're youth. Sometimes I have money, sometimes I don't. I go to a place like KICC or I go to a place like Safari Park and I don't expect to find youth there. But let me tell you, the youth will get into any function. And they come in to see politicians. And they're there to make a kill for the day. So you need to have your little envelopes to give each and every one of them. If you know they are leaders, you deal with it. But every single day, right, because of heightened unemployment, you find that the numbers are growing. But my youth in Nairobi, right, have a lot of respect. But we've come a long way. I've been detained when I was campaigning in 2017. I was detained at Nairobi University. You would not think that you're going to Nairobi University to talk to women. I went to see the women organization, and you will be detained. And I remember the guy was called OCS. He has since died. We also had Sherry.
Students?
OCS was the student leader, and I think he died. He died. OCS died. But I want to talk about OCS and I want to talk about Sherry because my youth in Nairobi know both of them. So when I went to Nairobi University to give a talk, what happened is they closed the gate. It was a Friday. And they said, we want 100,000. So at that time, of course, we have political differences. You can't call the police and tell them that you're being detained, you want help, and whether they'll come or not. It was a problem. It was a problem. And I had to find money to buy my freedom to get out of the university. I mean, myself and Sifuna, you know, when we were campaigning in Nairobi, every time we would be chased. In 2022, it was rough. And I mean, Sifuna understands that as well, because what would happen is we would be campaigning and the youth would follow us with motorbikes. Let me tell you, the express highway really has saved us, but some of them are also getting passes now to pass through the express highway. They have a car that is already paid for, they will pass through the express highway. So the thing is, what we need to focus on in the country, and which is why I am 100% supporting the president, is we need to focus on deliverables for the youth today. All right, we need to focus on employment, we need to focus on vision, we need to focus on projects, investor confidence, we need to focus on creating jobs and opportunities.
But it's all well and good for the long term. But we are 355 days to the next election. Some of these things may not be possible now. The violence has already been witnessed.
Absolutely.
These people have already been used, already gotten used to getting money through being hired as goons. And that's a problem we're dealing with.
Let me tell you, we have institutions, all right? Now it is the time for them to be patriotic and to carry the mandate of their office. And if those institutions are feeling that they don't have what it takes to do what they have to do, then they need to talk to parliamentarians. We need this law done. We need this adjustment here. Because for me, everybody has been summoned this week. And if nobody is held to account across the board, right? If there's no consequences, right? Then we're going to end up with a bigger problem. So I would love to see each and every one of them go. I've seen, let me tell you, when we had the Gen Z uprising, we had a number of shops in Nairobi that were looted across the country, even the supermarket in Naivasha, you know, and we know who did it. So they are arrested. I don't know why the case is not built strong enough. Then they are defended and they are released. But the thing is, for me, as I was driving here this morning, I thought to myself that, you know, if we arrest the youth that have been doing this and charge the youth, so we could have witness protection, we could have witness protection for who we call goons. For me, they are our Kenyans, and then we arrest the funder.
And we'll come
not
to that.
not the youth,
Yes.
the funder. Because if you arrest the drug user and not the drug peddler, a trafficker, then we're not solving the problem.
And we'll come to that to discuss the politicians and their
habits.
Role in this. But Madam Jane Kihara, you come from a county where most of the leaders are female. The governor, the senator, yourself, colleague MPs, most of them are female. How different is it there? And how much violence did they and you encounter in campaigning against male aspirants?
Thank you very much. You know, these things happen mostly in cities. I'm a Nairobi resident, so when Honorable Passaris talks about Nairobi, I know what it is. They even wait for us. In the rural areas, other than town, for example, I don't need goons to move around with. Yes, I need security, but this joblessness that is around, I have never called a meeting that I get non-invitees, but this time they are coming. They hear the MP is this side, Jane Kihara is that, they flock there because they are all looking for money. And this joblessness, if it's not addressed, and I don't see it being addressed, is going to give this country a hell of a time. There is the money part of it, and also power. These men want to retain power. So they're going to do everything. They're going to hire these goons. We are telling young people to come out so that they get elected. But where do we call them to? This field of madness. I was in Nakuru when we were attacked by goons hired by the leaders themselves. I'll say it here because it is true. Those goons were hired by Arama, not hired. In fact, he moves with them. They are his employees. They are paid by our taxpayers' money. Likewise, the governor of Nakuru.
That's a female.
Yes, she has her goons also.
So female politicians also find the necessity to have this.
She has her goons. She has her goons. That's for sure. Whether it's her or it's the husband, because Arama was hard bragging. But of course we know who the goon holders are in Nakuru town. We know who pays them, we know who they are. But again, they are on the right side of politics. So nobody will arrest them. So the buck stops with the top leadership. It stops with the president. He tells us this story of goons is going to be dealt with, and have instructed the IG to do this. But those ones who are arrested because they belong to the right side, nothing happens to them. There has to be deliberate. I'm surprised when Mheshimiwa says about laws to be done. We have enough laws in this country, but who is willing to implement? Yeah, there's nobody.
It's surprising that what happened in Homa Bay, for example.
Yes.
We've not even had the CS in charge of interior speak about it.
Absolutely, yeah.
The PS Raymond Omolo, who had days before what happened, had issued, had called a press conference and issued, assured the Linda Mwananchi team that there will be safety in Homa Bay. He's yet to make a comment about this. 4 people died.
Yes. That was a PR.
Including a police officer.
Yes.
The IG of police is yet to speak. There was a lot of police inaction, even in as far as arresting goons, whether from whichever side. And one wonders, yes, there are laws, but there seems to be reluctance to actually act on obvious criminality. And hence, one wonders, so what is the solution? Where do we go from here? If the police cannot act, if those charged with the security structures remain silent, then what?
You sound like you're giving up on this.
There's a sense of helplessness.
Yeah, yes. Actually, I was in, last month I was in Homa Bay. I had gone for a funeral. My best friend had passed on, so I went to Homa Bay. And Homa Bay is beautiful. I mean, where I went, you know, those people are friendly. So 3-4 weeks later, I see all this happening on TV.
Can't believe it.
And I start wondering, I mean, is this the same place I went to recently? You know, and I mean, these are people who had come as, in fact, a good number of them were visitors, people who are coming in. I mean, I have friends who had come in from Mombasa, from Kilifi, Kwale. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, I mean, what is this? Then I've been waiting, actually, glued to the TV every time it's primetime news, waiting to see or to hear a statement from the CS, you know, and have not seen any. From the PS Interior, nothing, you know. And I'm like...
Even from the police IG?
Even from the IG. And I'm like, really? I mean, say something, you know, condemn this, you know, talk about it. And I read a book. It was actually authored by the first female, Africa female, democratically elected female president, okay? Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. At one point in her career, she was employed as a government. She was actually a government employee. And she saw something that the government had done. In fact, it was something to do with the economy. It was a policy that did not make sense to her. And she knew this was not good for the Liberian people. And she called it out. She went and did a press conference. You know, something that was definitely against the current regime. But she was an employee of that government. And she had to call it out. And she later, I mean, she was, I mean, it was very bad. I mean, they were not happy about it. And she had to flee the country and all that. Later became president. What I'm saying is, and I'm not saying that my sister, Honorable Esther Passaris, is one, but I believe the female leadership in this government, they need to stand up, you know, the CSs, we need to hear their voices. They need to stop being sycophants, you know, they need to stand up. We want to hear the CS Defense, who is a woman, say this is not right, you know. We want to hear her voice. We want to hear the voice of the female. And I know, I mean, even the composition of the cabinet in itself is unconstitutional. This the court has told us, and I don't think the president really cares about that. But what I'm saying is we need to start hearing voices from the broad-based female leadership. You know, if you're a CS, if you're a member of National Assembly, if you're a women rep, and we with all due respect, my sister, right now we cannot start talking about policies. They're already in place, okay? We need to use what is already in place and make it work, okay? But that will only happen if we hear our voices. Mm-hmm. In fact, today, I would expect my sister to mobilize the other female leaders in the broad-based government. We're in opposition, we've already said it. In fact, we issued a statement as the Women Caucus of Jubilee yesterday. But we expect you today to mobilize your colleagues, okay, and issue a statement. And ask CS Murkomen, why aren't you saying something about what happened in Homa Bay? Yeah, we would like. I mean,
offense to that.
I'm just asking my sister.
Wanga is on the right side.
And I'm glad when she walked in here, she hugged all of us. We hugged each other because we are women. That's the baseline, you know. That's the bottom line. We are women first, okay? So as a woman, we are supposed to protect the nation. Because we are the ones who give birth to all these people.
We have 2 members of the National Assembly.
I'm actually expecting, and I'm challenging my sister, and I love her so much, Esther Passaris. I've worked with her before when I served as a gender advisor to the Prime Minister, and I need to hear their voices. I'm not.
Okay. We have 2 members of the National Assembly here, and even as you want to respond to that, the question is indeed time that even the National Assembly or the Senate summoned some of the leaders who are in charge of our security? The silence is deafening.
No. I think
it's scary, actually.
I'm sure that they are going to be summoned. It will happen. Yesterday it was discussed in the National Assembly as well. The Senate is on recess right now. What I want to say is, look, you might have a family of 5, okay? And one of you've raised them well. You have provided everything for them, education, the works, right? But today our prisons are full. They're full of criminals, They're full of people who've stolen, who've killed, all right? Why? Because this is societal wrongs. We're not living in heaven. We're living on earth. And there are wrong things that will happen. But I don't want, I think when we have a statement here, right, which is defamatory of saying that Wanga is involved, right, is for me, I think the police, the IG, all right, and for me, I'm tired of just issuing statements, all right. I think what we need is to see action. So as a woman leader, all right, I will go on my ground and I talk to my youth and I tell them we don't want this, all right? We don't want this kind of life. But doesn't mean all of them will listen. Just like a mother can raise all her children equally the same, one of them will turn out to be a murderer, okay? So now, I want to say we have two problems in this country, and we all agree. We have unemployment, underemployment, all right? Underemployment is that you are employed, but your money is not enough to sustain you. So I want to look at what and I have no apologies for supporting William Samoei Ruto and his government for two reasons, all right? One, he is at the moment looking at how can we take this country to the next level. To see him sit for 10 hours looking at Shah, talking to the people, and looking at how we can, don't laugh, Shah is doing an amazing job. I was looking, it's doing an amazing job. It's not, let me tell you, let's talk about unemployment.
I think we'll need...
Let's talk about unemployment.
Maybe 2 minutes.
No, you can respond.
We'll have another short discussion.
No, but let me tell you what, let's do this, okay? Let's look at the housing program. All right, it was a bold thing to go for the housing program. Okay, the other side says they're going to scrap it as soon as they come in. But look at this. Look at this. Yes, because we're trying to build the houses and get them ready.
People are withdrawing their deposits.
Give me facts
that they had paid.
Okay.
No, it's actually
so wait,
it was documented.
Unemployment. Okay, we're talking about unemployment.
Yes.
We have to deal with unemployment. Honorable Jen Kihara said we have to deal with unemployment. Unemployment under the housing project, we have created at least 650,000 jobs. Okay, and these are professional jobs as well as the other jobs. Nyota, amazing program, 100,000 young entrepreneurs. All right, with 50,000 to start a business. I started my first business, Sharper Image, with 50,000. And guess what? I was turning over 100 million in 5 years. So 50,000 is not a little money if you use it well. We've got 90,000 people, young people for workspace experience, entrepreneurship. We've also got artisans. When you come to digital economy, 300,000.
Why are you with Vietnam?
No, I want to talk about, no, let me tell you, we can't sit here. Families are grieving. We cannot handle Goonism. We cannot handle Goonism with press conferences. What we have to do is address the biggest elephant in the room, which is unemployment.
The issue is that we've all agreed that the policies are there, the plans are there. They've not managed to contain the problem as it is right now. There's only 355 days to the next election. If we continue on this trajectory, will employment turn around this? Is employment right now able to contain this?
Anybody who's employed and earning gainful income will not be hired to do wrong on politics.
But the toxic tongues, all these
ones have to be employed. They've all been summoned. No.
These ones have to be summoned. Leadership.
These ones have to be summoned and sorted.
My concern now is what do we do? Because there's a sense of helplessness. Yes, it's all well and good. The president has done his part and through those projects employed some youth. But the problem still persists. In 300 days, I doubt we'll have been able to...
IG is not working.
This. Yes.
Because he is not in charge of those goons. He's not in charge of his docket. The CS himself is a goon himself.
What do you mean he's a goon?
Yes. He's the one protecting them. We have heard him say that guns are not ornaments. Police can use them. The president cannot stop him. They cannot stop these people because they belong to the right side.
No. The pages, we have people from across the political divide.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. We even have Rigathi Gachagua on
That's
the
fine.
page.
Yes.
We are saying
Number one.
Violence cuts
No.
Number one.
You know when we say there is joblessness, because it's true, and you tell me that there's jobs in the housing program, a house will be built and it will finish It is not going to be built forever. So that is not a permanent job.
It is.
The ones that they have done, no, it's not.
We're going to build, we're building 200,000 houses now.
So they are not.
They are for the national.
Yes,
200,000
Do you
houses
think there's
next
something
year.
you can do from that angle? Because we're trying to look
You know
for...
what Esther said, there are those institutions, unless they do their work, but they can't do it, my friend. They can't do their work because they are those friends of the government.
Okay. Because I'm more concerned about the solution for now.
Yes,
There's one that has been suggested here in the pages, and this was suggested yesterday. The opposition has now invited the ICC to probe political violence. And I'm wondering, could that be a solution? Because all the solutions
in the country
are failing. That the police are not acting, the CS, the PS, everyone is hands off. Should we go this direction?
Absolutely. You know, because if what we have is not working, and I'll go back to, the statements. I have been waiting for a statement. I've been yearning for a statement from the CS concerning Homa Bay, because I'm directly and indirectly, affected, because I have my people. I even had to call and find out how they were doing. And one of them was, these ladies who are traumatized. They're in shock, even as we speak, you know, and I'm waiting for that statement. So if we are 4 years down the line in this regime, and sadly, these cases are increasing. We have had incidents of our people disappearing, young people disappearing, young people being found dead. And I'm like, it's actually, the number is increasing. The temperatures are going up. So if those in the country charged with the responsibility of cooling down these temperatures are not doing so, then we have to go the other way, because we actually are signatories to the statute. So, and allow me in 1 minute.
Without necessarily diverting the discussion.
In where I come from, at the coast, tuko na msemo inasema, chema chajiuza, kibaya chajitembeza. Kama wewe una kitu chema.
That's not only in coast.
It's a global.
That's their new thing.
So, it's something. You don't have to use 10 hours to pitch.
He wasn't pitching.
He was pitching.
He was discussing.
No.
And understanding.
Well,
approach.
President Uhuru was in office for 10 years. And he did not
Tell me, do you have
hours?
Do you run a
pitch,
business? Do you run a business?
Yes, businesses.
Okay. Do you have management meetings?
Do you
have management meetings?
To pitch.
Come on.
That was not a management.
Of course,
that was pitching for 10 hours. So if what you have is amazing, it is nice, you do not need to be on that. That's all he has done for 10 years. So 4 years down the line, and you're pitching. Chema chajiuza, kibaya chajitembeza.
Let's go back to our discussion.
My sister here does not have to convince somebody that she's well dressed and she's looking good, because I actually told.
But I have to dress.
You understand? So the president did not need 10 hours. 10 hours to pitch. Listen, and I was just telling my sister Esther, because she brought it up, you know, and I know I'll continue.
And let's not divert.
Please call us again to have this conversation. My point is, we need real, tangible solutions. Okay? And I will go back to psychophancy within the female leadership that has access to the presidency, and they are not saying it. And if they are,
all they do is praise him
in whispers. Okay? And yesterday I sang the national anthem, just the first stanza, and I teared, because it's a prayer. Mungu nguvu yetu, ilete baraka. Haki iwe ngao na ulinzi. Hakuna ulinzi. And this is a prayer. You know, it actually made more sense. Yesterday, it came up as a deeper revelation to me, as a female aspirant, that haki iwe ngao na ulinzi. His Excellency Ruto, haki iwe ngao na ulinzi. Let that stanza make sense to you, Mr. President. Right. That's what we are crying for.
Madam Passaris, next year will be exactly 20 years since the unfortunate events of 2007. The trajectory we've taken is leading us somewhere closer to that. We are hoping we'll not get there. But we're looking around and seeing who will stop this, and there's no one. And we're wondering, okay, you're saying I sound helpless, but even these people who are calling for the ICC are helpless as well. There's no solution from inside. Do you think we should go that direction?
Now, can I tell you, a country from independence is built through institutions. Now, you cannot tell me, if you tell me that you do not trust the institution to deliver anything for you. No, let me tell you, you have to have confidence and faith in your institutions. What we have to do as legislators is to strengthen our institutions through budgets and through stronger laws, through accountability on oversight. But I want to say that, when we say that the police have done nothing, the DCI, as soon as this incident happened, arrested 15 suspects. I even saw one of them, I heard, jumped out of the car, and then now I saw him being escorted to the DCI office with a leader from the United Opposition. What we have to do as...
The DCI turned him away.
Listen, yes, because you know what? A criminal should not be escorted. Somebody summoned should not be escorted. But this is the way we do things in Kenya, all right? We are divided bang 50, opposition, government. But let us look at the issues. If I was in the opposition, all right now I'm in the broad-based government, I'm supporting the agendas of broad-based and the deliverables of broad-based. If I was in opposition, I would be more concerned about supporting what is right and what is good. When we say Murkomen, you called Murkomen, CS Murkomen a goon.
Yes.
All right, let's respect the institution itself, the office. Yes. All right, you've called him a goon. Tell me, if tomorrow you all take government, who will be your CS for interior?
52 million Kenyans.
No, hold on. And then also, do you think if we are on the other side of the opposition, are we also going to say he's a goon? So the question is, I think it is important for us to understand we have a population crisis. We have an unemployment crisis. We have youth that are desperate for that $1 that you're going to throw at them, or $10, so that they can be able to earn something on the day. And that's why I'm saying, can we all focus on ensuring that the next 355 days, we're not chasing away investors, we're not ensuring that shops close. You see, the problem with opposition, it always wants to create chaos, thinking that they will come into power. Yes. But you know what? I was in opposition with a man, God rest his soul in eternal peace, who loved peace more than he loved power. Baba loved peace more than power. Yes. So every time Baba saw the country was spiraling down, Baba would do one thing. He would go to bed with the government so that he would improve the security and the peace and stability of this country. Yes. The problem with the opposition that we have right now, they are willing. Yes.
You want us to go to bed with Ruto?
No. Let me tell you something. You go to bed with saving your country. And let me tell you something. You were with Ruto, by the way.
I think that's where
Ruto. The reason Ruto is president, you were campaigning for him.
Yes.
So what went wrong?
I get the feeling that
he didn't do what I expected.
He's done more than you expected. But you've become tribal.
Okay, allow me to say this. I get the feeling that even this issue, we're just seeing it as a problem of us versus them, the opposition versus...
Yes, we're one country.
The problem.
The problem is, this could happen in an area where there's one party. Let's say like in Nyanza, where ODM is stronger, yet between two aspirants or rivals, there's still violence.
Exactly.
It could happen in Mount Kenya, where probably there's one big party.
It's happening.
And between two aspirants or candidates, there's violence.
It's happening.
I want us to look at that from that prism, through that prism, and not just focus on this big political divide of broad-based versus the united opposition.
If Baba were alive,
at any level,
if Baba were alive and he was sitting where Gachagua is sitting right now, right? And he saw what happened to Homa Bay, he would go and sit down with Ruto and say, let's save our country. But you know something? All they want is power, and they have no idea what to do with it. They have no idea what to do with you.
Allow me to ask
that before the close of business today, issue a statement.
What is a statement going to do?
No.
We have been around.
You need
are the reason.
You need to demonstrate, because you cannot go and tell the children of this.
Yes, ask me.
She asked you this question.
Yes.
You are, and the other leaders are close to the president. Have you raised this issue with the president?
Can I tell you something? You think the president is blind? You
yes
think he doesn't
or
know?
No?
You think he doesn't know what is going on? Do I have to tell the president that there was violence in Homa Bay? What are you doing about it? We have structures and institutions. The IG, we put laws in place that gave the IG full autonomy to do what he has to do. The interior is doing what they have to do. I saw the DCI arresting people. I've seen the NCIC summoning all these people. So the question is, everybody who's holding an office.
Yesterday the headline was the untouchables.
Right. No, hold on.
The untouchables.
Yeah, those are your narratives.
That was the headline yesterday.
Yes.
The untouchables. They are goons. We have seen them. We know them, and nothing is happening.
Let me tell you,
because they are on the right side. Let me say this: in Okalau, they killed 2 young men, and we saw them moving around with guns and shooting everybody. So we know them. But they can't
take the evidence.
Come on.
Okay.
Take the evidence to the IG.
Let's move on.
Why are you?
Pasaris,
yeah.
When you guys talk over each other, unfortunately, we can't hear anything.
Okay.
Because the microphone's just picking us. So let's do this. Madam Kihara, now let's talk about the politicians who've been accused of incitement. And I've seen some of them here. Some of them have been arrested, taken to court. Some of them have simply declined even summons to appear before the DCI or the NCIC. Now, there's a new trend of using vernacular to incite.
Yeah.
And when you're summoned, your argument is that the transcription or the translation that is used is incorrect. We've seen this, and we have 43 different tongues in Kenya, so we could be using that. Do you think that these people will actually get punished if they keep using that?
There are 2 sets of laws. When Omar Hassan incites people, nothing happens to him. But when Kagushia says something, Kagushia is taken to DCI. I've been arrested myself. I've slept in a police cell. So there's 2 sets
of accusations of incitement.
Of accusation of incitement. And it was during those demonstrations when I say that those goons were brought to Naivasha. Because that's a fact. Something that I could prove. Because I am the leader there. I'm the one they call. There are people who have been dropped here in a bus at night. When I say that, I'm inciting. I'm taken to DCI. But when Omar Hassan and Betty Maina and Otuoma, when they say something very insightful, nothing happens to them. We have to follow the law for everybody. The law is for everybody. It's not for some of us. And others. So I'm saying this government does not mean business. If they do, they would arrest those goons. It's not social media. We saw them. He was in the headline yesterday. He was here. And nothing has happened to them.
What is your assessment of the NCIC? Do we still need that body? Have we ever seen anyone summoned by the NCIC and it resulted in a conviction or even someone being presented in court?
I would actually, I'm looking forward to the day that a conclusion will actually happen from the NCIC. A recommendation will be given. One that, because recently they've been saying that they are going to recommend that some of these politicians who want to seek political office or in office and want to be re-elected are actually going to be denied, clearance.
Do you think that can happen?
Now, exactly my question.
I pray it happens. You know what? For the peace of this country, I pray it happens.
Now, and that's one of the institutions that I usually look up to and I say, oh God, something needs to happen here, okay? Summoning, and in fact, there's one leader who was summoned and he did a letter and he was told, come on this day. He said, I will not come, I will come on this day. You know, when you actually dictate, and NCIC embraces that and said, it's okay, you come when you can, okay? Yes, we have summoned you, but you can come whenever you can be able to come. Then what are you telling Kenyans, really? What are you telling Kenyans, okay? So I'm actually speaking, my voice represents, I believe, millions of Kenyans, who are saying, we are waiting to see breaking news. So-and-so has been told that they will not be able to vie for political office because of these utterances that were made. We want to see breaking news saying that NCSC has recommended that this person who is in office, who is a government appointee or a CS or a PS, whatever, has been suspended and a recommendation has been sent to the president that this person needs to be step aside, you know, and denied his or her salary, you know, until investigations are complete, or we have conducted investigations and this person is guilty. They need to be removed from government so that they can be able to face the law. I'm waiting to see that. And I don't
I'm waiting.
At least in this regime,
I'm waiting.
It happened at some point just before the 2022 elections, where politicians from across boards, opposition leaders and those who were in government back then, they were arrested for incitement and all bundled into Pangani police station, Muthaiga police station.
I was there. Same as 7.
I was there. I was there.
Oh, you were part of them?
No, I mean, we were there too.
Yes.
Yeah, we were at the police station.
Then what came out of that?
Nothing.
They just came out, they pacified the masses by saying, okay,
nothing.
fine, these people have been allowed to go for the peace of the nation. Surely.
Okay, so let me tell you, every political leader has a following. Whether he's charged with murder, whether he's charged with incitement and Goonism, whether he's charged with corruption, everyone has a following. But when we look at what happened today, when you say the institutions are not working, when you look at what happened with Governor Obado, now in cells, it tells you that the institutions are working. Okay? This regime here now has arrested, has had, you know, for me it's not regime. These institutions, we have to make them strong to serve all Kenyans.
What is the problem with the NCIC, for example?
So now let me tell you what, I was just, you know,
but
the police, let's understand.
Admit that NCIC...
No, hold on, let's
I mean, if she feels NCIC is actually working.
Okay, hold on. So the police and the DCI, their role is to investigate killings, assaults, weapons, arson, destruction. And I want to say they've done a good job. They've given a summary, they've given the cars, they've arrested 15 people. I want them charged. But you will see the same lawyers from the United Opposition going to defend them, okay? Now, NCIC investigates hate speech, ethnic incitement, political intolerance, and threats on national cohesion. They've already summoned a number of leaders. Let's see what happens in that space. So, you know, for me, I don't need to issue a public statement. I don't need the president to do anything. I need the institutions to work, okay? Because the institutions are stronger than the presidency. That's the constitution that we have.
Yes, the president took an back in 2020.
The back does not stop the president. Read your constitution, please. The president does not have any power to do the job of the president.
Stops with him.
It doesn't stop with him.
He's a CEO.
Maybe Moi's time, the buck stopped with the president.
We are under new dispensation.
You guys, you want to be, you're a legislator, you want to be a legislator.
No.
Can you please understand something?
Let's do an assessment of the NCIC.
The Constitution does not give the president the power.
Where does the NCIC, where does the NCIC fail?
Why did he say it has to stop?
What does
because
it, where?
He took an oath to protect the Constitution.
Where does the NCIC fail?
Okay, the NCIC is... You know what? I see them summoning the people. I will not. I think now they have. Okay, once they've summoned the people with the evidence, the ODPP is then the one who decides whether the available evidence supports the prosecution. That's number one. Then it goes to the judiciary, where you have all these strong cases who will lawyers who will argue, and then the judicial process takes its way. Innocent until proven guilty. You have to understand the structures of government. At the end of the day, the president of the republic can only do something against Murkomen, who he appointed, by firing him and putting someone else. But he cannot tell the IG. He can try to remove the IG. The IG can also be reinstated. At the end of the day, we have institutions that are autonomous. They are supposed to do their job.
You just said that the president is able to reshuffle his cabinet, fire the PS.
Yes, but...
Do you think that is an action that the president should take in this instance? The person charged with the country's security,
let me tell you, every
is here to speak about Homa Bay.
Every time, look, Homa Bay has happened and it was wrong, and I want the structures of government to do what they have to do. Now, Homa Bay, don't say thank you. Both sides, because we are culpable.
That,
both sides are culpable.
It was bad.
It was bad.
Yeah.
All Kalau was bad.
So we want to hear more voices from your end.
You know what I would like to see? I would like to see the United...
CS Murkomen's position, continued position as CS of Interior.
Let me tell you, even if I bring Jesus Christ to run the Interior, United Opposition will say remove him.
If we all say that, and then there's general
let
failure, what happens?
Let us have confidence on our structures. Now, if I was Gachagua, and God forbid, I don't want to be in his place or of his character, If I were him, I would actually call the president and say, you know what, this guy is failing. Let me donate, like Baba. Baba gave experts to Ruto. Let me give you this man, and I hope he doesn't bring Matiang'i, to run your CS Interior, because we can have an MOU, because he failed us.
No.
At the end of the day, at the end
Who
of the
wants to work
day,
for
no, it's not working for Ruto. It is
I don't think Matiang'i will do that.
This is where we go wrong. It is working for the country.
Is running this
Madam
country
Kihara,
single-handedly.
Madam Kihara.
No.
Madam
Come
Kihara,
on.
do
Come
you
on.
think
I
we
think
should
I don't
an
belong to
MP.
this debate.
Madam Kihara, direct
an
question
MP.
here. Do you think we should go the
You're an
ICC
MP.
way?
She was once also investigated
Allow her
there.
to answer this.
You know?
Why do you think that that's the best way to go? The ICC way, by inviting the ICC, an international body, to come during an election.
Because it's not working
We're
locally.
not a failed state.
It's not working. It's not working. If we say we don't put the president on the spot for the things that are happening, then what are we doing? We cannot as well go out there. If he took an oath of office.
And he's doing a damn good job.
What about issues of ethnicity? And I don't think we've addressed this enough, the issue of use of vernacular in political. And this is in areas where politically it's a homogeneous grouping. What your colleague Bwana Kagusha said, using vernacular, it may sound this or the other. His argument will be that probably the translation was wrong.
No, he's saying, he would say, and I would say, if I'm addressing Kikuyus, why do I need to speak to them in Kiswahili if they can understand what I'm saying?
Do you think it's easier to incite
he was
addressing...
I was in that meeting. We were addressing Kikuyus. Yeah.
You know, with due respect to Honorable Jane, you know, because when I think of Naivasha and I think of 2007, Jane, you were right at the center of all that mess. Okay, you did not. I mean, there's this maxim I keep saying: he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. Jane,
I was in the center of what?
Of 2007. 2007.
What did I do?
2007. I mean, you were one of the people that were investigated.
Esther,
okay, you were
what
clear.
did I do?
I mean, come on, the same incitement that you're doing now.
Don't be silly.
The same incitement. I'm
No,
not being
ladies,
silly.
ladies.
It's true.
No.
It's true.
No, I
How
could
come
hit
my name
her.
was not there?
No.
Why was my name
What
not
was
there?
I investigated for?
Let me engage this.
Come on.
Come on.
Please,
The violence in Naivasha.
You are being stupid now.
So even if you call,
Madam Kihara, please.
even if you call,
Esther Passaris,
it's a
please.
fact. It's
No.
The truth hurts. The truth hurts, but it's
I
because
could
it's
hit her.
true.
Madam Passaris.
I could hit her.
Do you see how violent she is?
She has no idea what happened in Naivasha.
Come on. I saw how many people were
calm
killed.
down.
What did you see?
How many people were
What
killed?
did you
Let's calm
And if
down,
you know
ladies.
that,
No,
you
no,
don't
no.
want to
Come
do that
on.
on
I would like
2027.
to. I would like
let's
you are
talk to
all
this.
the two of you are my elder sisters, and you're in
She was in
parliament.
charge, but
no,
she
let
was
me
there.
let me say
You're out
this.
of
I was there doing
Let me
what?
say this.
Inciting people the way you're
Allow
doing now.
me to
We've
say this.
muted your microphones for now.
Allow
Let's
me
address
to
the
say
difference.
this. Allow me to say this.
Get
We
it
need
out.
we need
No, I want to leave.
we need to move
I can't debate with Esther.
to
I
update.
can't debate with a mad woman.
Thank you.
Madam Kihara.
Thank you. But with due respect, you're going back into 2027.
Madam
you're going
Passaris,
back.
Madam
Yes.
Passaris, your microphones are muted for now. Please, let me engage.
Allow me
Vickers.
to say this. Both of you are older than me, and we have a whole generation of Gen Zs, some of who would actually be voting for the first time. Okay. And as leaders, we need to come out there without being sycophants, without sugarcoating some of these things. We need to have a real conversation at the national level, at the county level, at the ward level, all the way to the village level. Because there are people who want to hear...
Move this mic for me.
There are people... There are people who want to hear solutions.
This psychophancy has gone through.
We are reading newspapers. There are people in BAMBA, in other parts of the country, who do not have access to these newspapers. All they know when you go for meetings in these places is that Kenya is not at a good place. Okay? I spoke to women recently in a certain part in Coast, and they told me, Mama, safari hii hatutapiga kura. And I asked them why. And I told them, if you don't vote, you're actually voting in the wrong person. And they told me, tumechoka, twaogopa. Now, when you hear voices of people, women out there who are saying tuogopa. And women are the biggest voting bloc in this country. Yesterday, Jubilee Party launched the Kenya We Want. And when you listen, and we had women-drawn leaders drawn from different parts of this country, from Northeastern. And if you listen to a woman from Mandera, when she talks to you about what they're going through, it's the same thing a woman from Kilifi County is going through. Same thing a woman from Nyandarua. So, same thing from a woman from Nairobi County.
Do you feel like this level of violence could lead to voter suppression?
Absolutely. Because if those women could tell me, and they know what I do, they know where I stand, they know what I stand for, and they told me, Mama, safari hii hatutapiga kura. And I stopped. And I was concerned because already, if you look at the trend in terms of voter turnout, I mean, at the course, sometimes you get it up to, the highest it can go up to maybe 60%. And these are people saying, the women, who actually spend the longest time in queues, telling you that we will not vote. And when you ask them why, they say tumechoka. When you ask them why, they say tuogopa. So if we are really serious, if the president is serious about it, and he vowed to protect the Constitution, and you look at chapter 4 of the Constitution, it is very clear. The rights are very, very, they are in English and translated to Swahili. Anybody can understand them. And he took that oath and says he was going to protect the Constitution. The CS Interior took an oath. The PS Interior took an oath. All these people that are holding public offices took an oath to protect the Constitution. Now, when you have a situation where young girls are fearful to even declare that they are going to run for political office because they are fearing for their safety, they are not assured that they'll be secure when they go out to campaign, then somebody is neglecting the vow that they made, the vow that they took to protect the Constitution.
Right.
So we do not need to, we do not need to reinvent the wheel. We do not need to actually come up with new laws because the laws already exist. They are already there. And I have been in Mandamanos next to the late, Raila Odinga. And we were agitating for something and saying that these things are not running right. They need to be done this way. And we are saying it. And a time will come, and oh God forbid, I pray that we'll not get to that place where our voices as women will be silenced because someone somewhere has decided to ignore the vow. And when I say someone, number one, the buck stops with His Excellency William Samoei Ruto. Right. He's the CEO of the Republic of Kenya. Okay. So you cannot go and talk to us about Vision 2060, where Vision 2022 did not work, Vision 2023 is not working, Vision 2024 is not working, Vision 25 and 26 is not working. He needs to sit and take a back step and review and listen to what the women are saying. Now I'm talking as a female leader because we have children. You understand? We have families. And these people, I have been told personally by people, are you sure you are going to do this? And I said, I am going to do it. And I'll go all the way to the ballot. And God willing, I'm going to win that seat in Kisauni and make history as the first female elected member of National Assembly for Kisauni constituency. Okay. And I'm doing it. But I pray that the courage that God has given me shall be found in the hearts of many other leaders, many other female aspirants out there who right now as we speak, because of where we are as a country, are fearful. These young people, I've met young people, 22, 23-year-olds, including one yesterday who came to hug me and say, Mom, tembea na mimi because I want to vie for a political seat in Nairobi. Okay. But I'm scared. Mama, utakuwa ukija na mimi kwa mikutano. I can't be there every time because I have to be in Kisauni. I have other national duties as a deputy party leader of Jubilee. So, come on, let us be sincere about this. Let the president hold a similar meeting, whatever he did on the health for 10 hours. Let him do one for only 2 hours Will you guys come?
No, no,
people,
Esther Passaris, no.
and ask people to honestly and not just call, you know, real random calls.
Yes.
You understand? Real random calls, and for people to actually say what they are going through.
Okay.
Once we have that conversation, and once we have our sisters who are in government to come out and condemn these things, and not in their houses when they're having a cup of tea and saying in whispers, because we hear those whispers, you know, lakini hii serikali sijui, and they're in government. Come out and say it.
Right.
Get sacked or get fired,
This is how
but
we're
you
gonna
have
do it.
actually stood with the majority
very much,
voices of the
Beatrice.
women.
We will only allow one person to speak at a time. Right now, I'm going to give Jane Kihara. Your microphone is the only one that is on. And I'm going to ask you, please don't talk about Esther. And Esther, please don't talk about Jane Kihara. I'm asking about the violence and the security situation. The same way that Beatrice has talked to us about the future and what should happen, I'm asking you, Jane Kihara, as the MP Naivasha, and as a woman leader who's been here for a while, what are the next steps? We have a country to save. 20 years since 2007. What should we do? And let no one else speak while she's speaking.
I don't think I want to talk now because of this diversionary tactic. I don't want to sit here and be told that I was investigated for the violence of 2007, 2008. I wish she just asked me what happened that time, because they wanted me to be a witness in The Hague to fix Uhuru. That's all the ICC wanted. She doesn't know that. She said, I incited people. I mean, why is this why we are here? I'm saying we know these goons. The government does not want to do anything. She says that the president should not be asked because they are institutions. Why did he take another office? Why did he do for presidency? If it is a matter of ICC, he himself was indicted. The president himself. We have seen youth being abducted and killed, and we don't want to talk about the president because they are institutions. We have parents who have lost kids. I mean, we have to draw a line. What is it that we want to discuss about this country? We are talking about this insecurity. We are very fearful now. Women, aspirants, we are very fearful. Because people looking for power are going to get goons to displace us, or beat us, or rape us, for that matter. And we say we don't want to talk about the president. And he's the one who says goons will be a thing of the past. He said because it was his responsibility. And we don't want to say that. We want to keep on praising him, praising him, praising him. Everybody knows that this country is not going on the right side. This country is slipping into a very dangerous, steep, hollow deep. I mean, everybody is there to see. I am telling you, I was in Okalau. I went for that burial. It is the most painful burial. And these people just came out to vote. And they are killed by agents sponsored by the state. If the state is sponsoring goods, then who is there for us? ICC.
What about the role of politicians? Because there's a lot of incitement and reckless remarks made by politicians. What about that? What would you say to that?
I wish they were held responsible.
Across board?
Across the board. Yes, across the board. That's the way it should happen. But here we are. I just told you. We see this one is okay. When he says, when this one says, it's bad. This set of rules, of laws for different people, this is good for you, this is okay, this is not good for you. I mean, we have to be serious as a country. We have to be serious, ruled by the rule of law, whoever it is. But nobody wants to do anything.
It's a very unfortunate state of affairs, because this show was intended just to seek for possible solution. 355 days to the next election, and we still do not know what to do. The structures that are meant to protect us, life and property, seemingly are doing little, some doing nothing. That is our concern. Thank you so much for that. Now, Madam Passaris,
Yes.
without addressing any other issue, let's just talk about what possible solution we can for the short term to ensure that the next 355 days we remain sane as a country, we go to an election, and we come out of it unscathed.
Okay, first of all, I think we need to understand that you mentioned 2007, and we're in 2027, exactly 20 years. You know, for me, when I think of 2007, my image goes to Naivasha, the charred house with the charred bodies, okay? And that started with incitement, vernacular, and this is where we ended up. So we as leaders have to be responsible, because if we're not responsible, we are going to take the country to a worse position, because we've got more people that are in that net that can do wrong in this country. So now, when we talk about the president and his accountability, all right? The president is responsible for ensuring that state protects Kenyans. That's his responsibility. But he's not the investigator. He's not the prosecutor. He's not the judge. All right? It's the police who investigate, the DPP charges, and the courts decide. All right? And I tell you, one of the things that we did different, I remember even when we, as opposition, I remember once I was arrested, all right? Because I had put some advertisements on Uhuru Highway. And when I was arrested, it was by Ali. My entire brigade came, we sat down, I pulled down the adverts, and we continued. At the end of the day, I think there comes a time that we need to understand that the country is bigger than all of us. Right now, we cannot just be blame games, and we have to understand the constitution that we have. So for me, I feel, let the institutions that we have, because those are the same institutions, if the United Opposition were to take power, it is the same institutions, the people that they will put in those offices will be the same Kenyans, right? So what we need to do is have a moral reflection. We cannot improve 2027 if we do not look and reflect on what happened in 2007. If we do not want to see people dying, then we have to remember that we, as ourselves as politicians, have got to stop and change the narrative. And this is why I want all of them have worked at one point with Baba, except for Rigathi Gachagua, but all of them understand Baba and understand the kind of man he was, and that's what they need to reflect on. We need to put the country ahead. So when we come here and we demonize an institution like the presidency, we're doing wrong. So I want to quote Article 157.10, okay? The DPP does not require anybody's consent to commence criminal proceedings and cannot be directed or controlled by the president, okay? Or any other authority. We are legislators, we put these things in place. Under Article 245, the Inspector General exercises independent command of the National Police Service. No person, including the president, may direct the Inspector General, okay? So to investigate particular offenses, to enforce laws, to arrest. Now, when the United Opposition gives up on the institutions that have actually put them in office or taken them out of office, it is the same institutions that we have to respect. So collect your evidence, take it to the ICC, collect your evidence. If you feel we're a failed state and you can't go to the police, then go to the ICC for all means. But at the end of the day, right, everyone is culpable when it comes to Goonism. So we need to make sure that the institutions that are there to protect us work, all right? So for me, when I talk about 2007, the displaced people who were looking for places, over 10,000. I mean, come on. And we know that Kenya went to a bad and dark place. And we don't want. Let me tell you something, okay? I will not even answer you there because all of you were somehow investigated in that issue. He's now the current president, so he was not charged, okay? So at the moment, I'm just saying, have confidence in your country, have confidence in your people, have confidence in your institution, and let us as politicians do the right thing. That conversation that we're having right now, the hate, the venom, the incitement, is not going to help Kenya. 2027 will be worse off, right? Not because of Ruto, but because of all the politicians going out there and doing the wrong thing. So the institutions that have been given mandate to do the right thing by the Constitution, do your job.
Yes. Next week we mark 16 years since the promulgation of this Constitution. Article 39 of this Constitution guarantees freedom of movement and residence. Every person has a right to freedom of movement. Every person has a right to leave Kenya. Every citizen has a right to enter, remain in, and reside anywhere in Kenya. Article 33 of the same Constitution on freedom of expression. Every person has a right to freedom of expression, which includes freedom to seek, receive, or impart information or ideas, freedom of artistic creativity and academic freedom, and freedom of scientific research. The right to freedom of expression does not extend to A, propaganda for war, B, incitement to violence, C, hate speech, and D, advocacy of hatred that constitutes ethnic incitement, vilification of others, or incitement to cause harm, or 2, is based on any ground of discrimination specified or contemplated in Article 27 of that Constitution. Just 2 articles.
Exactly.
Should probably guide us through this entire political period. Yet we find it difficult to do so. Anyway, God save Kenya. I'd like to thank my panelists today. Jane Kihara, MP Naivasha, Esther Passaris, Woman Rep Nairobi, and Beatrice Gambo, Deputy Party Leader, Jubilee Party. Thank you for your very well-considered opinions on what we've talked about. I know it's gotten heated at some point. I do apologize for that. That was not the intention. But indeed, these are conversations that we need to have. 355 days to the next election. A lot is happening. Not all of it is bad, but definitely there is violence that needs to be nipped in the bud. And we are calling on the leadership of this country and the leadership of the security structures to do what they need to do. Well, that is where we dock for State of the Nation. After the break, we discuss other matters, and I'll be back later on Man to Man Talk. Thank you.